This is a 30-car train about to go outside on my outdoor layout extension. I did a little more work on it since the last video. It has the same 4 Aristocraft GP40 logos, all equipped with center set couplers, along KD couplers, along with all the cars in this train. Now, as you can see, I extended the second loop. It's parallel to the first loop, but more outboard and, of course, elevated from it. And it's about done right to that point where I left off today. I'll speed up the train. I'll speed it up a little more here. Here it's crossing over itself on the first loop. And it's pulling a 2.5% grade at that point. And where it's coming around, I kept the gradient to 2.2% from there on. You can see the engines are near the caboose. Now it's on the second loop. And this is where the extension was left off. So now I'll back it down. And hear the coupler slack being taken out. Here you can see the perspective of the two-loop, my two-loop Tehachapi loop. Of course, the real Tehachapi is only one loop, but I need 2 loops at least to get up to the upper part of the yard here. And so where I left off in the last video was this section here, and I still have to put some retaining boards here, but for the earth. But the track was continued along here, and it became I decided to, keep the grade to 2.2% from this point on. It seemed to be ideal. And so the second loop comes over. As you can see, I call these small letter H beams, and the second loop, as intended, is mounted on the taller of the H beam, the leg. And most of these track sections in this layout are fixed curves, or 20-foot diameter or 12.5-foot diameter. And then this section here is this little 2.5% grade is more or less straight. It's an 8-foot flex track. And I did some custom bending. This track down here is custom bent, and the track up here is also custom bent using the Aristocrat rail bender. And also over here, from this section on, I custom bent or rebent the Aristocrat 10-foot diameter sections. I had 3 boxes of stainless tracks, so I rebent them to 12.5, or really progressing from 20-foot diameter and tightening up to 12.5-foot diameter for these sections. Now this board this is laying here. This decking board I'm using is fastened down, and this is where I left off. And today is October 20th. Yeah, I think it's the 20th. So I'll run the train out again, this time from the perspective of inside the loop. Speed it up here. Where it's coming around on the lower loop here is that curvature is probably the steepest grade. It's about 2.9 or 3%. And then I relaxed it to slightly under 2% thereon. And here on the first loop, the train is crossing over itself. Now the gradient's increasing to gradually to 2.5% along this more or less straight section against these retaining boards, these pressure treated boards. And then, like I said, before the train came over here, I relaxed the grade to 2.2% here on. And that happens to be the actual gradient that's in Donner Pass for the former Southern Pacific, now subsumed by Union Pacific since 1996, I believe. And also parts of the Tehachapi Loop are 2.2%, I believe. I'm purposely going slow, but there is a voltage drop in the track also. I have to put some more jumpers in, like I did on the lower section that was described in the last video. And there's now here's more of a perspective view. I had run the train back down, packed it down, and I'm running it out again from under the house. So here it's going under the first loop. I'll speed it up. So there the train is making a run for the hill. That's the more or less straight section there. It's 2.5% grade. And the locos are coming around to the where it's relaxed to 2.2% now from then on the second loop there. I'll slow it down here. Slow it to a crawl as it comes near the end here. There, and we'll back it down. You can hear all the coupler slack being taken out. And there you have it. 2 loops over the track underneath.